Darryl, thanks for joining us. Convincing victory over the Doncaster team, 72 points to 6. Your first reactions?
I thought we were exceptional in the second half. I think the first half we started great and then had a little bit of a lull, made a few errors, and then got a grip of the game towards the end of the first half. Thought second half we were superb. I think it's very difficult to play against a team that's got that much confidence about it, and some of the offloads and quality support play was phenomenal in the second half. So yeah, really pleasing victory. Obviously, Doncaster end of season for them, so you recognise that in opposition at times. But look, you can only play what's in front of you, and I thought it was good to have Mason back out there again and Luke Gale, and when they combined really well at times, and we created a lot of opportunities. So yeah, really pleased.
You preempted one of my questions. How well did you think Mason went?
Yeah, well, the plan was for him to play half a game, but then Harvey gets injured and has a bit of an hamstring problem, so that forced me to think a little bit differently. I was actually going to play with Liam Kay and Matty Ashurst in the half backs. Matty Ashurst went there when Mason came off. But yeah, that was going to be the combination, but then Liam Kay has to go to 9 and he does a great job in there when Harvey comes off, so there's a little bit of a reshuffle in there which changed the way I was going to do things. But ultimately I thought Mason was good. It's good to see him back out there. For him, just been out a long time now, and he's got a decent hit out there. Once he'd made that break in the second half, I thought that's enough for him. He hasn't done a massive amount of training, and it was perfect for him to be out there for, probably 45 minutes, something like that.
You mentioned a little blip in the first half. You don't often bring 3 subs on in the first 20 minutes. It worked, didn't it?
Yeah, I just felt like we'd lost a little bit of tempo in the game, and I don't think it was any of those guys who I brought off. I don't think it was a fault of that. We'd made a couple of errors, and there was just a bit of a lull in the game, and I just felt like I was always going to put Isaiah on a little bit earlier than I normally would, and then it just seemed the right time to try and lift the game, and I thought they did pretty much straight away, to be honest, which is good when you've got a bench. That's what a bench should do, really, is to raise the tempo and intensity of the game. So I was pleased with their input off the bench.
You mentioned the injury to Harvey Smith early in the game. You've now got three injured hookers. This 2 weeks rest going to come to good time, isn't it, for you?
Yeah, I think if we were playing next week, I think Diley would probably be okay. Liam, I'm not 100%, but I think both of them will be fine for the playoff, so we should be okay. I think it's a reoccurrence of a hamstring injury for Harvey, which is obviously a tough one for him. I intended to play him 80 minutes today, so yeah, he didn't quite get what he wanted, but I think it's been a great season for Harvey anyway, regardless of what happened today. I think he's grown and in his ability to play the game, but I think respect from everybody around the first team squad as well. I think he's done a great job for us this year.
How difficult is it to leave Matthew Coates off in the 18th man?
Yeah, it's hard, isn't it? I think it's team selection's pretty difficult in this next period now, so I'm gonna have to get that right. I've got some Lachlan Walmsley didn't play today, both hookers didn't play. I mean, I've got some tough choices moving forward.
On a positive note, a big positive, how well is Max doing?
Well, yeah, he's playing so well. I was watching him in training the other day, just how well he moves, his instinct for the game, his skill is great, and then his instinct, his running game, his speed, his all round game, I just think is outstanding. And then he's obviously his goal kicking didn't start too great, did it? But then he got his sights in, and yeah, it's got a lot of points, that's for sure.
Word for the Dons, they were promoted last season, they finished mid-table. They've done quite well, haven't they?
They've done really well. I said to Richard Owen when I was speaking to him out there, look, you've done a great job. I think to come into a competition like the Championship and stabilise as quickly as they have, that's a great job. So it's good from a coaching perspective from him. And from the players, they look like they've got a great spirit, and I think that's such a huge part of rugby league. If you don't have a good spirit, then you easily fall apart, and I think they've really held themselves together well over the season.
We now know that the semi-final will either be Bradford, York, Widnes or Featherstone. Any preference?
Not really. I think we're at home. That's the key thing. I think we've just got to play well. I remember back in the day where you used to pick your opposition in Super League. Can you remember in the playoffs? Never a great fan of that, to be honest. Just added motivation to the other team. I think for us is coming here and playing against us when we're bang at it. Then we're a tough team to play against. York gave us a stiff challenge the other week, so we're mindful that. We're not unbeatable, we know that, so we have to be right at the top of our game. Toulouse have already beat us, Bradford have run us close a couple of times, but we're taking nothing for granted. I think for us, focus on what we need to do. We've got a couple of training sessions this week, the weekend off. We've got our player of the year next year. Next week, sorry, and then we roll into playoff week, and that's always exciting. I've been involved in those many times as a player and a coach, and they're the best. They put the hairs on the back of your neck up and get you ready to go and do what you do the best and what you enjoy the most. And I will say that I thought what the club did today was class, with the families going out on the field and really celebrating what each of those players have done for the club. Some have been here longer than others, but they've all had made a marked impression on the club, which is fantastic.
And finally, a word about Ben Thaler, who refereed his last match today. He's not been a bad referee, has he? No,
he's done well, and I think the thing you say about Ben, you don't always agree with him. You never do with referees, but he's got a great personality. He's done that on every time he's gone out on the field. His sense of humour is great. Sometimes in my opinion, and I've said this to Ben at times, it goes too far, but you'd rather have it that way than no personality at all. So I went and gave him a hug before the game. I think he's been outstanding for refereeing in this country, and he said to me, you'd probably like to sit back at me 6 years ago, won't you, Darryl? But he's just having a joke. And I tell you what, it was great to see some of the old referees here today. I was having a good chat with Colin Morris, who's he used to say some funny things to me on the field, and it was good to see some of those guys here who, they've given a lot to rugby league. We don't always celebrate referees, do we? Because it's everybody likes booing them rather than celebrating them, but we can't have this game without them, and it was good to see those boys here today to celebrate Ben's last game.